Hello, this is Joel A. Erickson and Nate Atkins. We're out here at Colts training camp where they're breaking camp for the first time to go to Buffalo for the preseason game. In the last practice before the preseason game, a little bit better from the passing offense today. Spread the ball around a little bit more. Two very nice catches for Paris Campbell, a catch for Alec Pierce. We're starting to get a little bit, or at least today, got a few more wide receivers involved, and I think they needed that at this point in camp.
They absolutely did, because we just talked yesterday about how it's been Michael Pittman, and that's about it. Again, he made a couple catches today, but there was so much more than him, and it was right from the get-go. And Paris Campbell he seemed more locked in. It was like the early days of camp again, and he was catching – one of the passes he caught was sort of like a deep over between zones where he sort of snagged it out of the air. And that's what they're ultimately going to need him to do, is that, like, we've talked about how the tight ends in this team are just not really there. Losing Jack Doyle hurts, and they don't have experience behind Mo Alley Cox. They need some guys in the middle of the field where Matt Ryan loves to work. Paris Campbell, if he plays like he did today and early in camp, can be that guy.
One of the other reasons that the receivers have had a little trouble being super productive is just the corners are playing well. I was told today that, we've all been talking about Stephon Gilmore, and rightly so, but Brandon Faison is quietly having a very, very good camp. Came over, signed in. He's been with Gus Bradley the whole time. Played with the Raiders, then with the Chargers. He signed over here. He's been the starter opposite Gilmore and Kenny Moore every time, and they like what he's done. We're going to get to see here with these preseason games and the joint practices against the Lions what's going on. Are they playing as well as we think they are? Is that why the receivers are having issues, or is it more of an issue than we realize? We're going to find all that stuff out here with the preseason games coming up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and a guy like Faison will be interesting to track too, because when he's gotten beaten, it's almost always been Michael Pittman, which is a matchup that he probably shouldn't be on this team. That's why Stephon Gilmore's here. But also it's situations where he may lose a one-on-one, but there's no pass rush there. You can see his length and his physicality really fits how this team wants to build with this new pass rush they hope is going on. We just got to see it against somebody else to see how real it is.
And we get to see that on Saturday. Colts go up to Buffalo to play the Bills, and we'll be covering it for the IndyStar. I'm Joel A. Erickson. This is Nate Atkins.
Different camp for you, and it looks like you feel like you're where you want to be at this point. How do you feel, and what kind of has been a productive camp for you?
Yeah, it's been great. Feeling great, and just with the offensive line we have, playing next to Matt Pryor, who's a big body and can move really well. And him and I bonded a lot off the field, and now on the field. It's been great getting to work with him. And got Ryan and Danny in there doing a good job, and so it's been a good camp so far. I think we're improving every day.
The value, we've talked to offensive line, the cohesion. You guys play virtually every snap together, knock on wood. It's going to be a value for the offensive line to be together.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to do everything together, on the field, off the field, and build that camaraderie and laugh together, have fun together, do everything together. So you're absolutely right about that.
Can you share what you do out the field?
We lift together. We play card games together, all sorts of different things. So.
How important is that pregame routine with Pryor? It looks like you guys kind of always together and doing the same thing before every practice.
Yeah, it's just a nice warm-up to do before getting out here and activating certain things and getting punch timing down and punches down. So it's been good, and getting it done together. It's been great. Yeah.
Are you looking forward to playing on Saturday, or would you rather rest?
What type of question is that?
You want a quarter? You want a couple series?
Yeah, I want to play. Yeah.
How much?
Okay.
You've talked about like how much of a challenge it is the last couple of years. You've had some operations. You've missed time with the foot last year. How do you feel? And I know it's like 3 weeks into camp, but like, how do you feel physically compared to the last couple of years?
I feel great. No surgeries this off season, and just a chance to really work on my body and do deep tissue massages, take some rest, work on stretching, flexibility, eating well, and then really hitting the gym hard once I felt like I was ready to, and gaining more range of motion in my joints, more flexibility, and just getting strong and healthy. It's been a great off season, and now for it to be transferring onto the field, you'll love to see it.
The mental toll of playing hurt, it's got to be exhausting too. And Darius talked about this. Shaquille, excuse me, has talked about this. I know what you went through last year. Just how freeing is that, to just be able to just play your game and have your body do what you want it to do?
Yeah, it's definitely freeing. Like you just said, it feels great. It's something you don't take for granted again. And, it just going through it, you realize how important it is to stay on top of the little things that involve taking care of your body, whether it's a routine you have every day, whether it's your sleep, whether it's all these things that add into recovery with cold tubs, treatment, yada, yada, yada. It's very important, and you don't take it for granted.
Has Matt Ryan been exactly what you thought he would be based on practices in the spring and everything?
He's been awesome as a leader, as a player, and then as just a guy in the locker room too. It's a privilege to be able to play with him, and I really like him as a guy, not only just a player, but the guy factor makes me want to go out there and play hard for him and play well for him. So being able to play with him is incredible.
You've been around him for 2 years in the development. What's next for Jonathan Taylor?
You got to ask Jonathan that. I don't know what's next for him. I think he's just gonna keep doing what he's been doing. He's such another. You guys probably get tired of it, but another amazing guy. And then so talented, so strong, fast. You just look at him, his biceps are popping. He's got the veins popping out. It's like, holy smokes, that guy's. Who's gonna tackle that guy? But I think going into year 3. It's probably just the game slowing down more for him and some aspects that I can't really go into since I'm not a running back.
Quenton, not your favorite question, but certainly I know at some point you hope to get a contract extension here. Taking the specifics out of it, can you just tell us just about what your goal is about wanting to be here a long time? I know you've said this in the past. Can you kind of reiterate just kind of how you see that?
Respectfully, I'm not answering any questions about my contract.
How's camp been for you? 2 weeks in, you just the defense looks like it's gaining some steam. Right?
Yeah, the defense is coming along, but for me individually, just trying to get used to the system. Honestly, just trying to grow that competitiveness, being back in the game and, shaking the rust off and building the chemistry with the guys around me, learning the system and trying to be as intentional as possible.
You guys have challenged a lot of passes in this camp, it feels like, gotten your hands on the ball a lot, maybe not as many interceptions, but is there anything about the scheme that lends itself to that, you think?
That holds us to what now?
It seems like you guys in the secondary have gotten your hands on a lot of footballs in passing lanes. Is there something about the scheme that is positioning you guys to do that, or are you guys just making great plays?
Yeah, I think it's a great scheme, but I think the players are just, bringing the scheme alive. Yeah. I think we got pretty good people in this defense to bring the plays alive, like I said. So, like I said, we just got to stay competitive each day and just be consistent.
I know Isaiah Rodgers got a chance to play in the nickel the one night. What advice would you give to players who are used to being outside corners about making that transition and playing nickel?
Just for anybody that's stepping into a new role, I think you should just embrace it. Be open-minded when it comes to a situation like that when you have to learn different techniques and positions and angles to run and be in. I think you just got to be open-minded and take the coaching. The coaches want best for you just like you do for yourself. So I think Isaiah is having a pretty great camp. I think this is actually Isaiah's best camp that he's having. I see a lot of growth in him. He's competing each day, and he looks very natural at nickel as well. So I'm excited to see him play more this year and see what he can do.
Kenny, you spent some time with Gilmore in New England. Now that he's here and you're with him every day again, what has he done that's changed the defense if he has? What's it like to work with him?
He's himself every day. He's very consistent. Just watching how he was, watching him back then at 17, how he was competitive and how he was able to elevate the defense then to still have that same energy and swagger. A little bit. I feel like, he's having several turnovers. I think his point of attack, when the ball comes to him, if he makes the play or not, is higher than anybody's. So I think he's having a great camp. Obviously been a Pro Bowl, All-Pro corner in the league, former defensive player of the year. I think he is everything that you see from him in the game. So it's pretty good being alongside him and just being in the room with him. So I think it's a lot to take away from his game as a person and a player.
It's just the preseason, but considering what happened in Buffalo last year, you expect the intensity to be a little extra Saturday?
What happened in Buffalo?
Remember that score? 45 to 12.
I mean, it's a preseason game. We all trying to just get ready for the regular season. So however much we play, we'll play. And I think it's more so about us and not about them. So, we got a scheme to patent together. So I'm looking forward to it.
Kenny, the full padded day seems like the defense has done pretty well. How would you evaluate your side of the ball in the full padded days?
How do I evaluate the full padded days?
For you guys for the defense.
I think, we're just trying to keep the intensity up from shells to full pass and pretty much just trying to put it all together. But, practice is practice, whether we have on pads or helmets or whatever it is. So, we're just trying to put it together.
You feel like you guys are playing well on that side of the ball?
I think we're all right. We got a lot of things to clean up and get better at. I don't think we're at the point where we need to be. Right now, I think we have ways to go.
You're far from a couple more here. You are one of the more experienced guys in that room. Do you find yourself being more of a mentor this year than maybe you have in the past?
Not so much a mentor because, I think we're all at the same rate, I guess, trying to learn the plays. And, there's installs that we're pretty much finishing these days now. So, and then obviously missing the spring, I came in and not being able to know certain things about the scheme. So definitely had to catch up on some things and get used to certain things about the new scheme that we have now. So, not so much as a mentor, but I do try to help out where I can. And, if they have questions or if I see someone do something that I wouldn't do or something like that, I would give some type of advice. So, but not too ahead of myself. I think they're all good guys, and we have a pretty good room that we have this year.
Your job is seeking you out at times. When you're watching on the sidelines, it seems like they come, and especially like Nick Cross and those younger guys, they want to come.
Yeah, I think they're sponges. They definitely ask a lot of questions, and they do want to further their game, but they're all special guys, and they all want the best for themselves like we do for, as vets. So, as a rookie with Nick Cross, he definitely has to grow up, fast as possible, just like Julian whenever he came in, just like Kari when he came in. So, expecting to have, a lot of time from, young guys. So they try to learn as much as they can from whoever they can talk to.
Has your job changed a lot? The spot you play?
Has my job changed a lot? I mean, it's a whole new system.
You mentioned it, like
it's a new system, but like I said, I just had to come into the situation and just be open-minded. I have great coaches that are putting me in the best position. So I did like the last system that we were in, and I think Eberflus was great at using the players that he had. So, but I think Gus does the same thing as far as utilizing what he has in the room and putting everybody in the best position. And I think we're in a great situation.
So last year, did you expect to have, at this point last year, did you expect to have the season you did?
Oh, you always
feel
expect,
those things?
You always expect to go into every season to have a great season. I mean, that's what you prepare for in the off season. If you don't, then you might have not prepared enough in the off season.
Did you see 1,800 yards?
I saw the championship. You always prepare for a championship effort. If you don't, I don't think you work hard enough in the off season. If you don't think that's the goal or the expectation.
Jonathan, how do you prepare to break tackles?
Well, number one, it's a mindset. Number one, I mean, you can be, as physical as you want, but it's also a mindset, especially every play. So, if people are trying to tackle you every play, it's a mindset. Number one, but then secondly, of course, is the physical preparation on just making sure your body is prepped and primed, ready to go. Hydration, you have to make sure your muscles are hydrated. You just got to come in the best shape of your life, just to endure that for the entire season.
Is that mindset just no one's going to tackle me? Is it as simple as that?
Definitely. I mean, every play is designed to score, so you just have to make sure you do your part and say, hey, when I get the ball, my part is to make this one guy miss, and it should be a touchdown.
Did you see that stat that you led the NFL? If you just took out, if you took your rushing yards after contact, that it still would have led the NFL in rushing yards?
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
Did you have to do anything different after a 17-game season?
Oh, you just have to. Oh, of course, you get more resources. You got access to more resources. So just being able to find out what's out there through the vet guys who have been there and done this for a long time, and try new things out, see what works for your body, what doesn't. But other than that, in the off season, it's just straight work. That I think that's the motto for me is, don't get too fancy all the time. But of course, you got access to a lot of new resources. But just straight work.
Do you feel like
it's all about the season's all about phases. Off season, then OTAs, and minicamp, preseason, regular season. When there's a chance you're not going to play preseason, you didn't last year. Do you do something different during camp to prepare for what may not happen in a preseason game or not?
No, you just have to make sure that you stay ready. One, you have to stay in your book. Two, make sure that your physical conditioning, whether it's lifting, whether it's running, making sure you're staying all on top of all of those things, just to make sure you're prepped and primed, ready to go.
Do you need to play preseason?
It's fun. It's another game. But we didn't play in college, so this is just a new element that's added into the NFL.
Frank says sometimes it's good to get 1 or 2 hits, maybe as a running back. Do you get enough hitting out here to where that's inconsequential?
I mean, no matter what, football is football. You're going to get hit, so you already know that in your head.
Do you like it when they put Hines on the field with you at the same time? He did it a little bit last year. Do you feel like it gives the defense another thing to worry about?
I mean, Naheem is just an explosive player, so anytime we can get him on the field, let's put him on the field because he just makes stuff happen. Yeah, definitely. Those were really nice. I believe today I got to look at what time it is, but we should see the red moon tonight, I believe it is. I have to look again. I think so.
How did that start?
I mean, I've always been a science kid since I was little, so ever since I can remember.
Will that be on your schedule today to see the red moon?
Definitely. I got to check and see what time. I was trying to look real quick, but then I had to come out to practice.
If you looked at one kick one game, one kick another game, how you lining that up?
This game we're going to split it by halves. We're just going to go half and half.
And we've seen whatever it is, 15 or 16 kicks out here. Are they getting more inside that we don't see that you guys are grading, or is it out here?
I know they're getting work in there. I'm not sure if all those are being charted, but really we're going off of what we do out here.
Frank, do you need to see Paris play in the preseason?
Yeah, we want to see all those guys play.
Paris, Julian, even though coming off his injuries also.
Yes.
Is Taekwon ready to play?
It's really more for them, I mean, it's as much for them as it is for us. Just the confidence level.
Is Taekwon ready to play?
I think.
Practicing quite a bit.
Yeah, I think Taekwon is ready. I'm not sure we'll play him yet in this first game, but he's really progressed well.
That was a pretty serious injury. He doesn't look like a guy who had very serious injury.
No, and that's a credit to him and our training staff and the doctors, and he's really accelerated, coming into camp. What we thought, we're just probably weeks ahead of that, so we're encouraged by that.
What does an address sound like before preseason for you?
Well, I didn't hear the first part of that, I'm sorry.
The address before preseason game, whether that's the night before.
Yeah. Everything's a dress rehearsal. I mean, we know the score doesn't matter as far as, in the big picture, but, we have a saying that everything matters as far as us getting better as a team, us determining who's making this team. So this is a great opportunity for individuals to showcase what they have, and then really for us as units, as an offensive, defensive, and special teams unit, just to show good, clean, sound, fundamental football, penalty-free football. That's really what you're looking for.
Frank, is the second, we're not there yet, but is the second preseason game what the old third preseason game used to be?
No, we're going to do it, Zach. Yeah, it takes, still got to figure all this stuff out. No, so as we said, the only reason the ones aren't going to play in week 2 is because we're practicing against the Lions for 2 days, and so really all that's been eliminated is there's no preseason 4. So exactly, that's really like the biggest dress rehearsal. So we're kind of warming up to that. That is the biggest dress rehearsal, and then we got 2 weeks, and so that's how we'll approach it.
That's an obvious question, but as a coordinator, offensive guy, you've had your offensive line together. I mean, the value of just being able to grow together, which has not been the case in the past.
It's great. Those guys really feed off each other. They know the body movements. They know how to adjust versus certain techniques up front. So many reps together, talking through things, what to expect, how to adjust. Yeah, it's really, really helpful for us for that continuity.
What's the biggest improvement you've seen in Taylor in this camp versus when you were young?
I mean, he's just come in. He's obviously in great shape. But I remember the first year thinking it took a little bit for him to kind of see and the blocking schemes develop. Where now, I felt like he kind of came in mid-season form there. Like understanding what we're doing up front, how to fit the hole, how to set guys up. I mean, really from day one, to me, it looked like he was in mid-season form in that regard. So, and then as a route runner out of the backfield, what the work he's done in one-on-ones and what we've done in the past game. I mean, he's a 3-down back. I mean, he can do anything.
Frank, will you treat Nick any differently in the preseason?
One more. You heard Bishop. One more.
It's like the cutest. One more question. I think we got. Will you treat him any differently in that he's a veteran backup compared to like a different backup?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, great question. Because really, we really want to get a look at those at Sam and Jack. So, not that we don't want Nick to get work and prove what he can do, but obviously Matt and Nick, they've established themselves. Nick's having a great camp, so get him in there, shake the rust off, and then get Sam and Jack in there and give them plenty of time.